Friends, it's Greg Allison, Green Gregs. We have a major solar storm alert. We have a case where the sunspot 4366, which didn't even exist before this weekend, has sprung to life, and it's now already half the size of the Carrington event sunspot. Not only that, but this thing in the last 24 hours has put out quite a number of flares. It has put out 17 M-class flares and 3 X-class flares. Not only that, but these X-class flares, the last one was over a X 8.1. Now, that's still not a Carrington level event or the strongest one even from the last solar cycle, but this thing is flaring to life really fast, so fast that we've got to pay a lot of attention to it because I'm going to show you a picture of it here. Hang on, guys. Here it is. Bing, bing, bing. This guy right here, 4366, it is growing rapidly, and it's not even facing us directly yet. That's what we got to be concerned about. This thing could continue to grow. I mean, she is extremely active as a sunspot. And this is something we've really got to pay attention to. I've always warned you that the sun, that nothing else took our power grid down. Eventually, if we don't fix it, the sun will. And we may be facing that. So this is something to really be alert to. This is something to get your preps in order for. I think this is one of the biggest things we've got to look into and consider right now in the threat matrix of what is in front of us. So this is just my alert to you to be aware of this. So what we're going to do here is I am going to back off and show you. I'm not going to be on here all night tonight. We're going to make this quick tonight. So this is the big sunspot group right here, 4366. Like I said, it's already, like from nothing, already half the size of the Carrington event sunspot. This is major. So if we come back and look at right now, the storm hasn't got here. As you can see, the aurora is very Spartan right now. So what are we going to get from this X8 class flare from yesterday? We will find out. So in terms of solar storm warnings, I'm not seeing a whole lot here, but guys, this is one you've really got to keep a close eye on because it's going to disrupt radio traffic if nothing else. But this storm can keep growing. It could give us nastier things faster than we want to think about. If we come into here, this is another article on it. We'll cover some other news articles too, but I just wanted you to see this. Come up from the NOAA Space Weather Prediction Center at 6:57 Eastern Time. There was an X 8.1 flare from that storm. And yeah, it's where they come up. This is your chart on scales of solar storms. So yeah, watch out. This thing is potentially a monster. How's everyone doing tonight? Got 55 in here watching. For those that's just joined us, we've got a major sunspot. I'll come back to that in a little bit. We'll hit a couple other news items real quick. And that is Iran. We can expect the Iranian war to hit and start really soon. So the Saudis, who were real cool, didn't really want us to do this. They were discouraging us from it. And now suddenly the Saudi defense minister, he's come out and said U.S. inaction would embolden Iran after denial of their airspace. It's all like, okay, now we got this far, you need to just finish the job and do it. So Saudi Arabia has kind of flipped on this, it looks like. So yeah, at this point, if it doesn't happen, it will only embolden the regime. This is according to Prince Khalid bin Salman, who's the Saudi defense minister. This guy right here. So they're really encouraging the United States apparently suddenly to strike. And top energy experts are giving it a 75% probability. I think it's likely to be higher than that. So if we come over here, because maybe something's already started. There have been explosions reported across Iran, including in this port city there in Iran, multiple explosions, 4 fatalities. What's the name of that port city? Shoot. Anyway, this is not what to scroll. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we got locked up here for some reason. Anyway, yeah, that happens. And this thing guy, he Drew Hurst. I'll look at the major events. Yeah, we could get some weather out of it. I mean, really and truly, there are those out there who are saying, sun don't have anything to do with our weather. Sun don't have anything to do with how hot the earth is. They're full of it. That's so-called mainstream science. But I know scientists that will tell you otherwise, including a couple of top climatologists in the world who actually look at the U8 satellite data for global heating. Yeah, they got better answers anyway. But what do you expect? Let's go back to share again. What happens for those that hadn't joined is there's some glitch in my system that when I'm trying to show articles, it will glitch up unless I de-share and reshare. I don't know why. Of course, the Iranians are threatening that this will cause a regional and global nuclear cascade. Well, that may be a little bit. It may be some regional war because Iran's probably going to attack everybody else. Israel will be involved too. But global nuclear cascade, I think that's a bit of a stretch unless they've already got nukes and are planning to use them, which is a possibility. Top ranking official says that we got progress toward negotiations. So maybe that's the 25% chance that they're going to bail and won't go to war. If they think we're really going to obliterate them, they might negotiate. So that may be the 25% chance that it won't, is forecast by those global energy analysts. So, but guys, it's been ugly in Iran. There's been various reports of the numbers of people that were taken out, families, men, women, and children. Some people say the number is 30,000. Some claim it's higher, some lower. The government, of course, says lower. I tend to think it's probably on the higher end from the reports I've seen and heard. So it's ugly. So why is it that the so-called protesters all up in arms about Gaza are totally quiet about this? Why is that? Because these people really want freedom? Is that why? Because they don't fit their narrative? I don't get it. I don't get it. So it's going to be interesting. I'll check the comments in a little bit, guys. So we're not going to stay on the news here. So, basically, the Ayatollah has been making all these threats, what's going to happen. And Trump just says, hey, Iran's supreme leader's war threats, he said that we will find out if he's right because he was making all kind of threats. So that's a pretty declarative statement. He didn't say we might find out. He said we will find out if he's right. That kind of indicates that Trump may have made a decision to make the strike already. Of course, he's supposedly holding out, giving them a chance to negotiate a peace deal. But we'll see. I don't think it's very likely. Now, guys, I'm always warning you guys about biolabs here in the States. We know that in Reedley, California, they discovered a Chinese biolab. Well, now they've found another biolab or possible biological laboratory and lost wages. Now, they don't in this article tell you who had it. There's nothing in here. Was it just some local yokel? Was it connected to China or somebody else that don't love us? Why would anybody have a biolab in their home or business or wherever it was? So large scale investigation. It was at a home in Northeast, lost wages. And I've been investigating the past few days. Metropolitan SWAT went in. Can you guys imagine that? Guys, I mean, things are dicey right now. Who would want to release something like it? We got to be really alert. We got to be really on our toes about all this stuff. And hey, I've not been a big fan of Keir Starmer. And I know we get a lot of watchers from Great Britain in here. So, Great Britain, from the United Kingdom. Uh, we get a lot of people from the United Kingdom. I don't say a lot, but we always get a few. And, we get other followers from Europe and Australia and Canada, like Arnold's in the house tonight. So Ken Starmer is not one of Ken Starmer, Mark Carney, French President Macaroni. I'm not a fan of these people. Man, because Starmer he was already wanting to put in, basically a ID chip for everybody. He wanted to have everybody have a digital ID. And hey, it's not something I'm going to get, but I worry about where that's leading. I especially worry for our followers in the United Kingdom. And now he's leaned real heavily over to China, like a lot of our other European allies. Just suddenly because we're cutting back a little bit, they suddenly want to lean over to China real hard. You got to be kidding me. We're still providing the bulk of their defense. It's like this. We saved the rear ends in World War I. We saved their rear ends in World War II. We put our blood and treasure into saving their rear ends in 2 world wars. We're defending their freedom throughout the entirety of the Cold War, and we bankrolled NATO ever since. 62%, I believe, of the budget. It's a crazy amount of the budget for NATO. And what happens? Little spoiled kids, ingrates almost. Well, I'm just speaking of their leadership, not the people in the country. Because the polls are now saying that more than half the people want to get rid of them. Yay! So hopefully this guy's days are numbered. Oh, yeah, he's allowed the Chinese to build a ginormous embassy in the old Mint building in London with a big secret spy room in the bottom. Not smart. Like giving the country away to China. Not to mention giving away. Yeah, how about the Chagos Islands where we got our main air base, our Diego Garcia Air Base in the Indian Ocean, and he's despicable. So I hope that they get rid of him over there. Hey, Senior Lou, thank you for that. Halo. All righty, so I'll check the chat room in a second. We're almost done with the news here. We're going to make it quick tonight. Now, here's something I find interesting. I did a civilization cycles video a little while back talking about grand cycles of things that can wipe civilizations out and potentials for other previous civilizations. And it's got a lot of biblical type content in that video. And one of the things I didn't mention was the prospect that there were giants in the past, just like the Old Testament claims. Well, now they have found the same thing in this 3,300-year-old Egyptian document. And the strange thing is the name of this document is the Anastasi document, Anastasi 1. That's like the ancient Indian tribe we had here in my area, Anastasi. How they get the same name, I don't know. Or maybe I'm not hearing something right. But Genesis chapter 6 talked about these giants. And this is the text that they found this in from Egypt. Looks like a handwriting instead of hieroglyphics. Interesting. Some of these characters are almost Hebrew. But there we are. More. Oh, maybe this is the biblical text. No, decades old document. And the odd thing is the British had it in the museum, kind of hid, 1830s, and now suddenly it comes out. Isn't that interesting? So the connect the dots, the Anastasi, that's the name of Anastasi 1, is proof beyond what was said in the Bible that giants existed. That we're talking about 8 to 10 foot tall people. And for those of you that know, there's also legends of some that came up from Central America and to the Southwest and we're running into a cave, and by the local indigenous people, and basically they set fire to the entrance of the cave and burned them out. So those are big red-headed giants, kind of the legends of the red-headed giant of Kandahar and Afghanistan that some of our troops supposedly came up against. Are these all the Nephilim of old? So that's really interesting. Yeah, this says a Roman remote town 90 miles, the ones here in America, 90 miles northeast of Reno, Nevada. Well, it was said they were in Arizona too. And of course, there's the guy who found it, who said he claimed reports of 60 human skeletons. But, it's also thought that the Smithsonian Institute hides a lot of that stuff. So what is that? What is going on with that stuff? Anyway, earthquakes. Well, it's a little quieter than normal. We still got a couple wrong with San Andreas. The tree weather's been warning me about a bunch of smaller quakes that are typical of something that might happen before the subduction zone goes out. It's like our latest one up here is in Alaska. Oh yeah, Denali National Park. We had one there last time we were alive. Denali National Park, but where Mount McKinley's at. Kamchatka still shaking, but not as big. There's no giant earthquakes here. This is the biggest one right here. 5.1, 43 kilometers east of Adak, Alaska. That's one of the islands the Japanese took. That was the foremost island out. And the United States conducted what was called a 1,000-mile war to fight and run the Japanese off that island in World War II. So there you are, my friends. That's what's happening in the news. Now, the news segment of this for our morning coffee cup drinkers is over. I want to check the chat real quick. And then, hello. And then we're going to do our egg guess, and we're going to end this video quick tonight. So, any event, make sure I can find our chat room on my computer. I was watching it on my side computer over here. Ding, ding, ding. All right. We've got 80 in the room. Not bad for this late. Vicky Hat. This is Justin Cola, I guess Colorado. I don't know. Arnold. Baby girl. Aloha. So I know you're in Hawaii. True Hurst. Cornelius, who was that? Cornelius Devaney. I hope that's right. Hello, Greg. Hope all's well. We got another Greg in the house. Have you ever? He's one to ask about the major weather events. Glenn, Upper East Tennessee. All right, is that where you're at? Good, good, good. All right. Used to drive through there a lot. Back when that was near my stomping ground, especially if I drove to Washington, D.C. Pilgrim, how you doing? Howdy, Pilgrim. Howdy, Pilgrim. There we go. Broken Fish, good to see you. Mama Brew, Sandy Lou, and Arnold Schmidt, too. The Smithsonian has often removed artifacts from American history that wouldn't surprise me. Enoch explains giants. Yeah, he goes in more detail. They're in Genesis, but he goes in more detail on it. And, the book of Enoch was in the Ethiopian Bible. The Ethiopian Bible has like 88 books. And so I think they've got some interesting stuff. So, yeah, Ethiopia was probably the first Christian nation. And then what, Armenia would have been the next one? I believe so. The Ethiopians weren't subject to the Council of Nicaea. So they kept a lot of books that the Roman Catholic Church tried to destroy. So, yeah, there's some interesting stuff. And the book of Enoch is very fascinating. It was referred to by Jesus' brother, I believe, James. So to throw that out of the canon is ridiculous when, the followers of Jesus was talking about it. So I think the book of Enoch is probably one of the most interesting books. Anyway, and I like the prophecies too. But that's another story. We diverge. Everybody tell me where you're from. How about that? And then we're going to go into the egg guess in just a minute. But don't guess yet. Hold your guess till I say go. Drop from 80 to 63. Maybe because I'm done with the news part. All right, I'm not seeing. In fact, I'm not seeing. There we go. Yes, yeah, some interesting. How about that? Thanks for the warning, Alan Meyer Jensen. You got it. First guess, just as soon as I said no, Alan Meyer Jensen got it. 5. All righty. Here they are. 5 eggs. That's what I got in my hands today. 5 eggs in here. You see them? I don't want to spill them out trying to show them the camera. Got to be careful. Royal San Antonio, Plymouth, Massachusetts, Texas. All right, very good. Royal San Antonio. Space Girl, how you doing? Hello. Kansas. Hey, Davey. Alan got to get guess right off the bat almost as soon as I had it. So, Alan, where are you from? You were in, that's what I remember. Are you in Denmark or where was it? You're over there somewhere. Can't remember exactly. I won. Denmark. Yes. There we go. Denmark. Peoria, Arizona. Hey, neighbor. Baby girl, you're a neighbor. Nice size eggs. They are. They're good eggs. Oh yeah, they're really good. They're a lot better to eat than these store-bought eggs. All righty. Well, let's call it a night here. We've been on line here for 21 minutes. Let's make this a short one. I got to get up real early, and I got a couple things to do before I can hit the hay, but I got to get up early. I need a little sleep. So I want to let me check before I go. I'm going to check my phone to see if anybody's emailed me a donation through my, or not emailed it, if they sent it to me through my website. I got a couple of people that will do that if they're in the house. And they don't always chime in on the chat room. So I always try to check just to make sure. So I like to give credit where credit's due. I see nothing tonight. Okay. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank you, mods, for keeping it clean. I haven't seen any troll activity tonight. I appreciate y'all being on the watch for me. And I just want to thank everybody for being here. Please share my videos. I got a video that I recorded earlier today. I'm going to post tomorrow on my Swivelhead News channel. And it's just about the threat of some of the name calling that's going on here in the United States. There is a political meaning to some of that stuff, and I will probably next time I go live on Swivelhead, I will back that up with some of the other things that certain groups are saying and doing. So we gotta. You look good fried. Oh, thank you, Cindy Lou. Yeah, I'm fried. I got to hit the hay. I look good fried. Well, thank you for the compliment. Once again, I want to just thank everybody for being here. So that's a good one. Pray. Go to bed and pray, everyone. Hey, there we go. I say pray and somebody pops up. Prayers. You please sleep with the angels watching over. Thank you there, Debbie. Everybody, we need to say our prayers. Seriously, guys. We got to pray for the world we're in. We got to pray for our country, for the world, and for those that are, that we hold dear. Things are crazy, people. It's a crazy world. They get a bunch of hearts. So I appreciate that. Oh, what happened? I just knocked that out from the dream here. So with that, I'm gonna say thank y'all for watching, everybody, and please keep your eyes wide open, head on the swivel. It can be coming as get your preps together because of the solar storm stuff. Oh, real quick, just for anybody coming here late, we got the solar storm 4366, which didn't exist before the weekend. and suddenly it's half the size of the Carrington event. It sprung out 17 M-class flares, 3 X-class flares, including the X8.1. She is cooking. She's not quite aimed at us yet. She's swinging around. So everybody better be on their wares. Keep your gas tanks full. If you're using propane, fill up. You know, make sure you got stuff to get you through because we could have our grid taken down. It can be permanent. Hope you get your preps in order, my friends. Get your preps on. Not saying it's going to happen, but be prepared. That's what we prepare for. Anyway, once again, thank you all for watching. And with that, I am going to say to one and all, a good night, good day, wherever you are. And Greg